Hopefully Johnny answers. Hope everyone is well. A lot of people viewing at the moment. I'm just having some technical problems. I'll get Johnny up in 1 second. Just waiting for Johnny to come on board. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is safe. Enjoying isolation as best as you can. Johnny,
Baby,
how are you, champion?
good mate. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for joining what I've been put up to do, Warner's Corner, or we can call it JB and Warner's Corner.
Warner's Corner. I'm a bit worried.
You should be, because I'm worried, because I have zero clue about how to be a journalist or a presenter or an interviewer. So my guess is as good as yours, champion. How's things, mate? All good?
Yeah, all good, pal. Yeah, all good. Nice to be home. Nice to spend some time with the family. I'm sure you're the same, seeing the girls growing up very quickly.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It looks like we've both been to the same barber as well. Looks quite nice.
Yeah, we've got.
It is brilliant. Well, mate, thanks for joining. I think a lot of our, obviously, Sunrisers Hyderabad fans would be watching us currently, but given today's environment, we're doing our bit to stay safe. And obviously, we're all locked down. I know your country is, my country is, and obviously in India and pretty much the rest of the world. So it's obviously unprecedented times, but I think we can just do our bit by giving back some information and some share our thoughts on obviously the game and what we've been up to, and just an insight to what it's like to be us as well in isolation.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, we can see the effect that it's had not only in England, not only in Australia, India, but the rest of the world. And I think it's the correct decision at this moment in time for everyone to try and contain the virus, isn't it? We're not just talking about a few people that are potentially very poorly. We're talking about thousands, and trying to keep that down to a minimum is the most important thing. Trying to save people's lives is the most important thing. And like you say, we're at home training for hopefully that call when it does come, that we can get back out to India. We can play in the IPL when that does come around, and we can be back out supporting and playing in front of the fans that were so amazing last year.
Yeah, definitely. Well said, mate. Well said. And obviously, the county season obviously has been put on hold as well, and potentially, we don't know the news yet, but obviously the World Cup as well, which everyone's anticipating. But on a lighter note, let's get on to some stuff that we actually do know a little bit about. First of all, mate, a couple of questions. I just ask you. Obviously, a lot of questions have been sent through, but things at home. How have they been, and how are you sort of staying fit in this environment? And I think the other day we saw you mowing your, I don't know, you have like 60 acres or something out the back there.
Yeah, mowing the lawn, doing a bit of gardening, trying to stay busy with that. Training wise, I've been doing a lot of HIIT stuff. We're allowed to get out of the house for an hour, so I'm slightly in the countryside, so being able to run through the fields, following the public footpaths, and staying fit that way, to be really honest with you. The wind's been pretty chilly though, so it's a bit different to sweating in the heat in Hyderabad.
Yeah, I can imagine, and that's obviously moves on to my next question. Obviously, normal circumstances will be over there playing at the moment, but what's one thing that you miss about Sunrisers Hyderabad as a team, and obviously the IPL, mate?
The Hyderabadi biryani, mate. Missing it.
Too spicy for me.
To be honest with you, I'm missing the buzz when you walk out onto the field. When you walk out onto the field and the fans are there going berserk. I'm really missing that. I'm missing the IPL for similarly the same reasons, but also being able to test yourself against the best players in the world, the fantastic Indian players and the local players that they have over there, as well as some of the best overseas that come and play in the comp.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think the best thing about obviously being over there is the fans, and just the the happiness it brings to people, and the smiles on their faces when we're over there. And they're things that you miss, is the crowd jumping up and down, supporting us, and we just like representing obviously Sunrisers. And you said it very, very well there, mates. But look, there's a million questions here to get through. There's a question here. Who is a cricketer that inspired you to take up the sport, or who is someone that you looked up to or wanted to be? Was it an England cricket player? Was it a school friend? What made you take up the sport and to be who you are today?
So my dad played. Dad played cricket for Yorkshire and for England. So he was an inspiration. But then when I was about I'll have been about 14, I think, somewhere around that, when Partheesh Patel came over to England on the India tour when he was 16 years old. We went to a barbecue. Well, it wasn't a barbecue. Geoffrey Boycott put on a dinner at his house, and all of the Indian team came, and Sachin was there. So Sachin was there, Surav was there. There was a lot of people that the greats of the game were there, and to get to meet Sachin at such a young age, I'd say that he was a big inspiration for that.
And how did sort of wicket keeping coming into the picture? Did you do that as a kid growing up? And what have you learnt more now that you'd do when you were younger? That would be different.
Well, it kind of came by chance, to be honest. Someone got injured when we were about 13, and I just kind of took it up there. And then it kind of developed through the second team at Yorkshire. I hadn't done too much of it before playing in the first team as a keeper at Yorkshire, and then it was kind of like learning to go about it, which was a real good thing, because I think the freshness of the freshness and willingness to learn was there, and the hunger and desire to get better was definitely there. There was no necessarily real bad habits that were ingrained when I was younger, so it was that was when I kind of more took it up.
Perfect. I just saw a comment there. Do you two like sledging on the field? That's quite funny. It's not sledging, it's just banter. Look, is there anything or any habit that you did to upset your parents when you were younger?
Cool. Probably came in with a load of muddy kit. That was probably the biggest thing, wanting to go out and play in the garden and coming back in all muddy from head to toe, and them having to throw me in the shower.
There's nothing worse than clean whites being all muddy and then having to wash them. Not ourselves, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how parents get stains out of whites and get them back clean, I do not know when you're young.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of questions here around, do you remember your international debut dates? I wouldn't even have a clue. I think mine was 2010, 11.
Yeah, mine was.
I've got your answers.
So mine was in September 2011. It'll be something around the 19th or something like that.
Yeah, your ODI debut was at Sophia Gardens on the 16th.
Yeah, September. And
then you must have played.
Lords was 2012. Lords 2012 against the West Indies was my Test debut.
And from there, how tough from 2011 has the journey been so far? I'll say all cricket, not just Test cricket. I think all cricket's one to talk about.
Yeah, I think that cricket in general tests you. I mean, you know as well as anyone, it tests you through family, it tests you through mental resilience, it tests you through your technique, it tests you through everything, which is exactly why we play the game, because you learn so much about yourself. So being dropped, being in form, being out of form, putting yourself in and out of comfort zones, whether that be on the pitch, whether that be training like we are doing at the moment, in isolation, and learning about yourself is the big thing. So yeah, it's been full of ups and downs. But if it wasn't full of ups and downs, and it was an easy journey, then you'd probably get bored of it, wouldn't you?
100%. And there's a a question here as well where they say, why is it so hard to play cricket in India against spin for us? It's a very tough question to answer.
Yeah, it's similarly, you revert it back to say when India come to England on a green seamer. It's something that when players are used to playing on certain surfaces, then they'll find it easier playing on those surfaces because that's what they've been brought up on. But yeah, it's great fun to test yourself over in India, and the pitches, especially in the IPL, are fantastic.
Oh, 100%. I think the wickets that they produce for obviously IPL games are a little bit flatter than what they I won't say what they produce for Test cricket, but Test cricket obviously goes for 5 days, and once it starts getting a bit rough, if Ashwin's coming around the wicket, I'm a bit susceptible. I know that all the time, but I just you try your best, don't you? You try your best.
I think many people are susceptible if it's day 3, day 4.
Oh yes, exactly. Another question: what's one thing no one knows about you? That's very difficult. Very difficult.
One thing no one knows about me. I've just got a puppy. There you go.
Perfect. What kind of dog?
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Puppy?
Yeah, he's only 8 weeks. Yeah, so mum's dog, but yeah, he's staying at the house at the moment. So I think he's asleep.
That's the old chestnut I did. I bought one for myself, left it at mum and dad's, and never went back and picked it up.
So mum's got him. It's mum's dog, but yeah, he's going to be a big lad. What about you, Davey? Tell me something, and everyone, that we don't know about you.
Oh wow. Well, everyone now knows I joined TikTok. I tried to get away with that.
Oh, wow.
What about? I'm looking for a Bollywood career after cricket, which ain't gonna work.
What role are you going to play in that then?
Not a backup dancer, that's for sure. Oh wow, something that people wouldn't know. Jesus, there's a lot of things everyone do know. I don't know. Jesus. Wow. Well, this is probably a given. My wife's a better runner than me, long distance only.
You're happy with saying that.
I've got to give some credit somewhere, don't I?
Yeah.
All right, they want to know, where did you score your maiden Test 100? And how many did you get?
Newlands in Cape Town, 2016, 3rd January. And I was 150 not out.
Yes. Very, very well done. Great memory, actually. You got better memory than I do. I have zero idea about that stuff. Now, how many runs did you score last IPL?
525.
Do I have that answer? I do. 445 at a strike rate of 150.
My bad. It was you that scored 520.
Yeah, 562, I think.
Hey, remember.
Yeah, exactly. What's your in the IPL your favorite venue to play at and your favorite opponent to play against? And I think opponent playing against would be a broad term of, I think, international cricket, not just related to IPL.
My favourite venue in India has got to be.
Don't be biased.
I really like playing at Bangalore. I think that with how the stadium's built, it's like on top of you, and I really quite like that. And also the pitch is really good there.
It's a belter.
Yeah. So really enjoyed playing there. Who do I like playing with or against? I'm going to say Kane. Kane's like, having played against Kane and with him at Yorkshire, I think that he is firstly a ridiculous bloke, secondly a fantastic player, and thirdly the way he goes about his cricket and his thoughts on general life and things like that, I think are something that we can all learn from.
Well, while we're on the topic of Kane, how was the feeling when you guys won the World Cup, and like for yourself, and Kane's captaincy and how he handled the situation? Obviously, you got to commend him on that. But how did you feel overall about winning the World Cup? And is there any stories that you want to share from that? Who did you first call afterwards that wasn't there? I saw you obviously had a lot of friends and your mum and your sister there. What was going through your mind? Obviously, it was weird watching it on TV from where we were, but to be out there in your shoes, it must have been an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous feeling. Like it was 3-4 years of hard work, toil that kind of all came down to such small margins within the space of the game, and there was obviously elation and happiness and everything that comes with winning the World Cup. But then obviously the New Zealand lads are such good blokes and good fellas. It was, yeah, when you were like chatting with them and stuff like that, you didn't want to kind of be over the top with them because of you know how tough losing is, not that and especially in a World Cup final, it must be absolutely devastating. But yeah, as you say, the way in which like Kane spoke in the press conference and in the post-match interview and everything was, yeah, remarkable.
Yeah, it was first class, and it was absolutely like bizarre because obviously no one understood what was going on and whatnot. But you guys obviously thoroughly deserved it, and I know myself, we thought that you guys were going to be the hardest team to beat, especially on home soil, given your record the previous 18 to 24 months behind that. And obviously congratulations to you guys again. But while we're on a winning matter for you guys, I had a question about, can we discuss a bit about that Ashes game at Leeds? And I would like to ask, you got Stokesy in playing the way he did. He obviously got through the night before. I was a little bit nervous, I think, when you and Joey were batting. But at 9 down, you needed 75 runs to get, and obviously Leachy's walked out to bat. Were you guys thinking that you could still win it?
Oh, look, 9 down needing 70 to win. Like, it's in your heart of hearts, probably not. You think like with the bowling attack that you guys have, and how well that the guys have been bowling. Look, it was always going to be tricky, and it needed something seriously special. And that's what it came down to. There was obviously a bit of luck, and a couple of bits that went away. But that's the game of cricket, isn't it? There's opportunities all the way through. I mean, when you play and miss, it comes down to literally a couple of millimetres that you can nick the ball. DRS now, the chances that you don't take. Some are clipping the stumps, umpires' decisions that are umpires' call, etc. So there's so many things that can go one way or another. And yeah, that day is something that will live long in, I think, cricketing history, and it'll go down as one of the best games in Test cricket's history.
Without doubt, and I absolutely concur there. It was just a surreal moment when you're out there in the field, and when a bloke's on, he's on. Like, he was hitting I was standing at first slip on one occasion when Nathan bowled the ball and he hit a six down the ground, and I thought it was out. Celebrations,
mate. What your catch all about? Let's talk about. You were facing that way, turned around to the pavilion and gave it the big one.
Well, the issue behind that, there's an underlying issue where I dropped a few catches, I think, at Lord's, and I think I needed a bit of a talking to, and I needed to do some slips catching, and I think I was a little bit under pressure. I think I was going to get shifted away from first slip at that stage, and I think when I caught my first one, I was like, so happy. And then I think I caught 7 in the game, and I was just so happy that I actually caught them by, I think a lot of them were by fluke, to be honest. To be honest, they just stuck. But look, I think there's been a few questions that are handed to me here about me and you playing with each other at the IPL, and this sounds a bit corny, but the best thing about batting, I'll say with us, what do you think the best thing about batting is with you and me together? I've written down, I love running between wickets, and I think our energy between wickets is outstanding. I know how fast you are between wickets, and I think our ability and game awareness outside the six, running between wickets, is obviously one of my favourite things to do, and I think that's a strong point for us.
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's an understanding, there's an understanding of, right, if someone says right 2, then it's kind of like given that we can both gauge that there is a 2. So you're almost not really looking before you've turned. It's almost like touch, go, and then look, because does that make sense? It just...
Yeah.
And that kind of started really early on, I think. There was a couple of games where we were getting 2s where we didn't really have the right to get 2s, but it was something that when you put pressure on people early doors in that kind of pressure environment, you soon find out what you can and can't do. And it also relieves pressure, whether that be from one end, rotate the strike to get each other on strike, even if it's just a single.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where, when we played against RCB, we actually put them under a bit of pump in that, and then it allows them, not to settle, and the bowler has to think differently, and then you get those sort of the half volleys or the misexecuted deliveries, which you can put away.
I also think that you potentially hitting the balls in different areas to me is another one. So some of the shots that you'll sit back on and play more off your back foot to go, say, when it's a slow ball and you're whacking them back over cover or whatever. I think that's definitely a different way of playing rather than myself. I think that comes in with statures as well. You look at Hayden and Langer when they had their